town called Castel Grande. My mother and my father, I had 5 sisters and 1 brother. My father was an alcoholic. He drank a gallon of wine every day, from 6 o'clock until midnight, every night. 35 years, he drank 1 full gallon of wine, sometimes more. The first part of the gallon, we all danced, we were happy. The second part of the gallon, hey, what do you got? What are you doing? He was paranoid, and we got beat up. Everybody. My mother would try to stop him, and she would get beat up. So I was 14 one day, and he was hitting on my mother, and I got an axe, I was going to chop his head off. My mother said, no, no! He turned around, I put the axe behind me, and he let me slide, I let him slide. But when I was 16, I used to go down, well, actually when I was 12 years old, I used to go get a gallon of wine for him, and I would get a bottle for me. Now, why do you do what you don't, I couldn't stand alcohol. Why did I start drinking? Because this is what I learned. I'm 75, and I learned some things. And I learned, you don't do what you're told, you do what you see. And this is what I saw, that's what I did. So I was drinking at 12 years old. At 16 years old, I started smoking pot. 17, I started shooting heroin. This guy I was selling it to, he left his syringe at my house, and I shot up. So then I saw this girl, she got pregnant. Her mother didn't want me to marry her. But I insisted because I was a macho guy. I didn't know what love was. Love in me was, if your girl doesn't do what you tell her, you smack her in the face. That's what I saw my father do. This is all I knew. So anyway, I married her. 2 months later, I'm arrested. I used to rob. I never robbed a thing until I started smoking pot. When I started smoking pot, I robbed this guy's house. He used to brag. I worked at General Electric, and he used to brag all the time about how much money he had. He bought his daughter this, that. I robbed his house just to get at him. And then we started robbing, stealing, hijacking. Then my mother-in-law, one night I was getting high. I came out, I was nodding out. She called the cops on me. I was in the bathroom taking a shower. He said, Solinsky, come on out. I came out. They arrested me, gave me 1 to 5 in Connecticut State Prison. While I was in there, the first thing that I learned was how to pick a lock. I didn't know, I didn't ask anybody to teach me. Prison is crime school. That's what you learn. You learn all the evils. So anyway, when I got out, my sister came to pick me up with her husband. She married him. He was an underboss to the Genovese family in New York. So I joined with them, and because he said to me, he goes, you're a fool. I said, what makes you think I'm a fool? He goes, because you're arrested. You stick with us, you won't get arrested. And so I joined up with them. We went to Atlantic City, opened up a nightclub right on the boardwalk, and this girl was walking back, and I wasn't getting high. For 2 years, I didn't do anything. This girl was walking back and forth, and I knew she was looking for a cooker to put your drugs in, So I walked out, I said, excuse me, are you looking for a cooker? Yeah, how do you know? I said, I just know. I said, I'll leave you a spoon in the bathroom. When you go in there, leave me a taste. She left me a taste. I did it. The next day I was so sick, man. I didn't want to do this no more. But I met this girl. I'm so dry. I met this girl. Her name was Dolores. And she had her brother-in-law. Him and his brother, they robbed a pharmaceutical company. 5 50-gallon drums of methamphetamine chlorohydrate, pure speed. We started selling that. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. Man, money was just falling out of the sky. We had so much money. And so then I just left the nightclub. I went to this guy's house to pick up the money that he owed me. While I was there, on the table he had 3 guys that drove me there. On the table he had white lining, THC, LSD, cocaine, and speed. I took a little bit, and I put it, and I drew it up. He looked at me, he said, no man, don't do that here. Because that was a death shot, you're going to die with that. I just had to do it. I put it in my top pocket, we're driving, I stopped under a street light. I said, stop here. I took it out and I shot it. I looked at it, and I could see water going down the pipes. I see people watching TV. Beyond that, I see a baby in a crib. It didn't make sense or nothing. The guy that's driving says, you all right? He didn't even speak it. I said, yeah, I'm all right. He goes, how do you know what I was going to say? He didn't never spoke it. I just read his mind. This was crazy. We get to my apartment. I tried to open the door. The door wouldn't open. He took the keys from me. He opened it up. We walked in. I said to the girl that was with me, I said, Ethel, give me the half a pound. She gave me half a pound of speed. I put it on the table. I went in to get the scale. I came back out. It's gone. The only guy that I know that could have it is, I forgot his name. He had a straw hat. So we all had t-shirts on. It was summertime. I figured that he had it under his hat. I says, I went in there, I got my gun, I loaded it up. I says, take your hat off. As he was taking his hat off, I'm waiting something, because I had no will. Everything was and something turned me. Boom, the gun went off. The bullet went through Vince's head, the guy that took the keys from me. He fell on my foot, and I saw his spirit leave his body. When it's cold outside, I saw that. Whoa, I ran downstairs. Ethel, the girl that had the drugs, she goes, Nick, you killed that boy. I said, I didn't. No, you made me do it. I cocked the gun. She goes, it wasn't me, it was the drugs. I said, so I called my brother-in-law, my boss in Connecticut. He sent two guys to pick me up, drove me to, the first time I came to Montreal, that was 1971. I came here, I had $6,000 in my pocket. I blew it. I got an apartment in Le Colisée building. I bought a car. I was on my way to Italy. My father gave me addresses to see people in Montreal, his relatives. I was going to see them. They were going to tell me how to get to Italy. Anyway, I didn't do any of that. Next thing I know, I got $1,200 left. So I said, this is not enough for anything. And I called my friend Jimmy. I said, Jimmy, you want to buy some more? He goes, yeah. Meet me at this guy's house. Anyway, he met me there. Made the transaction. I got the $10,000. I got it in my pocket. Boom! The state troopers came in. What happened is I called Dolores, my girlfriend. I said, Dee, I want to be with you. She goes, where are you? She said, I told her the address. She said, okay, I'll meet you there in about a half hour. That's when she called the state troopers. They came in. Because the guy that I killed was her sister's fiancé. But I didn't know that. Anyway, they came. You know why we're here? I said, yeah, because I killed. What? Whose drugs is that? I looked at Jimmy. I said, it's mine. I had the money. Now I got the drugs too. He said, I'm not going to let him take it, you know. So anyway, I took it. 2 years later, I went back to court for the drugs. And I made a plea bargaining agreement that you sign a sheet. And 5 years running, 3 years running concurrent with the sentence I was now serving. When I walked out of the courtroom, I was free. Because then I went back and I did the other 5 years. The other 3 years, which was 5 altogether. And while I was there, this guy had a Bible on his desk in his cell, you know. He goes, I said, where'd you get that? It had his name on it, Roger. I said, where'd you get that? He goes, I went to Bible study. So I went there. And I got a Bible too, but never once did I even open it. My name was on it, Nick Federici. That gave me pride. I was so full of pride. Anyway, from there, I came home. The day that I came home, my wife, when I called her, I thought she was waiting for me. She was with another guy for 4 years. I said, because I started to go to bed with her, she started screaming, ah! I said, what's wrong with you? She goes, I'm in love with somebody else. I said, why didn't you divorce me when I was in prison? She goes, well, because I thought you would kill me. I said, what do you think I want to do to you now? So I let her go. And I ended up all over the place, you know. So anyway, 3 months later, she told me my 2 boys that she had, were at her sister's house. So I went there to go see them. When I went down the steps, my brother, he drove me. He was a heroin addict. When I got down, I see this guy with his arm around my wife. I lost it. I went down and boom, bang, 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 knocked him down the ground. I grabbed the bamboo rake and I started beating on him, man. My wife jumped on me, slipped. I slipped on the ice. He got up, he took a 6-inch knife, the only kidney that I had. Because what happened before that, 7 years before, my mother called me. She says, Nick, I have 5 sisters. She was the baby. She was my mother's, everything that she taught her how to sew, how to cook, how to do everything. Now she's gone. She took off with this guy, Candido. So she said, when you see him, give him a beating, man, and bring your sister back. Now my mother tells me that, whatever. I'm going to fight somebody, man. I'm going to fight anybody, anywhere, anytime, about anything. And now my mother tells me. So I go look, and I knew he was working in the liquor store. So I banged on the window. I said, you, come out. So he came out. He said, what do you want? I said, I want you to leave my family alone. Stay away from my sister. He said, F you. Boom! And knock him out. I pick him up to give him some more. He ran out of his T-shirt. His sleeve was in my hand. I said, that's all right. Next time I see him, I'll give him some more. I was getting in my car. All of a sudden, I hear, hey, I looked. You don't come down here and beat up on my people. His uncle, off-duty cop, his name was Emmanuel. He had his arm in a sling. A car hit his police car and he smashed his shoulder anyway. So he goes, you don't come down here and beat up on my people. You punk, I'll make you look like a sailboat. I went at him. Shoot him! Bam! He shot me in the arm. I went to grab the gun, because I was close enough, you know, and the arm didn't work, nothing. Ooh. Bam! Bam! He puts 2 more bullet holes in my, you know. Then, after that, I wasn't going to fall. I knew that if I went down on the ground, I was dead. That much I knew. So I'm not standing. I'm standing. I looked up. I said, God, don't let me die. I didn't know the Lord either. He knew me, though, but I didn't know him. I said, God, don't let me die. And I never hit the ground. This guy, Angel Rodriguez, he called me. He said, you want to go to the hospital, man? I said, yeah. He put me in his car. Look how God speaks to me. Angel, he sent me an angel. Thank you, Lord. I went. They took out my left kidney, 4 inches of my liver, sewed up my pancreas. My arm was all messed up. Anyway, 18 months later, they kicked me out of the hospital. I was getting high in there. They threw me out. So they asked me, the police, you know, they said, so what do you want to do with this guy? I said, I want me and you, put us in a room, leave us there. Just leave us there. Because my arm was working now, you know. He goes, we can't do that. I said, well, this is what I want. If we can't do that, forget it. Just leave it alone. All right. So they didn't do that, and I let him go. 4 years ago, my sister, my other sister, she called me. She goes, Nick, you know Candido? I said, yeah, he just got run over. He's dead. Trailer truck. He was on a motorcycle. Trailer truck ran him over. Anyway, I had nothing to do with it. You know why? Because I was in the hospital. Tube in my nose and my mouth and my heart, everything. Getting transfusion. And in my mind, I was thinking how I was going to get him. I got Candido tied to a chair. I'm taking his eyes out with a dagger. You know? And I said to Emmanuel, I said, wait till I get to you, what I'm going to do to you. Just then, Mrs. B, she was mopping in between the beds in intensive care. She goes, Nick, let it go, man. Let it go. Evil will follow the wicked all the days of their lives. You've got to let it go, man. And she went back to sleep, mopping. Never spoke to me. I was there 27 days. She never spoke to me again. Never. This is the 4th day. Never spoke to me before. So every time I was thinking about killing him, I would see her eyes. I couldn't do it, you know. So when they told me, Nick, we're going to kill him, his nephew died, whatever. So his nephew died, and when he's coming out of the cemetery, we're going to shoot him. I said, no, I'm going to do it. But it wasn't true. So I'm going to go in there 4 years ago. He died on his own. After that, it took 18 months for my arm to work. But then it worked good. And I went right back to doing drugs, all the same stuff. And from that, I ended up going to El Reno, Oklahoma, Danbury, Atlanta, Georgia, Texarkana. All these penitentiaries that they send you to. When you're hooked up with the mob, they send you as far away from the people that you're connected with. So anyway, they sent me to El Reno, Oklahoma. The day that I got there, I'm playing cards with this guy, and he liked the way I played. I never gambled. Because if you took my money, I feel bad. You take my money, I get mad. So anyway, I never gambled. And he's gambling, and I was a good pinochle player. So he says, Nick, I don't want to lose you as a partner. Go in communication, there's an opening. I went there, knocked on the door, opened it. This tall gentleman, he says, yes, how many days do you have left? Because 30 days, if you don't get a job, you go to solitary. Confinement. I don't care, I don't do push-ups or eat something, and then I come out. Three times I was in solitary, I didn't care. He said, how many days do you have left? I said, I have 2 days left. Is that why you want to work here? I said, no, I want to work because I want to know about low voltage electronics. He says, well, what do you know how to do? I said, crime and construction. He goes, yeah, you come in Monday morning. I went Monday morning, 2 guys are sitting down, black guy and white guy, they're reading, I don't know if they're reading the Bible, but I see them read. I said, where's Gary? He's inside, I knocked on the door, walked in. He said, Nick, let me tell you something. Before you start working here, I want you to read the Bible. 30 days, memorize a verse, or find another job. I said, I don't have a Bible. I started reading. No, wait a minute. He opened up his drawer. He gave me a brand new King James Bible, wrapped up in plastic. I walked outside, and look, they're reading their Bibles. Now, this was illegal. He can't do that to me, but he did it. Anyway, I unwrapped it, opened it up. Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. It took me 2 weeks to memorize it. I went in, I shared it with Gary. I said, Gary, look. He goes, can I make a confession? I watched you in this. You don't talk the way you did when you first came. You walk differently, you know. I said, yeah. You want to accept Jesus? I said, what's that going to do for me? He says, you won't go back to your old life. All right. When I accepted Jesus, hope came into my heart. I went back, I started reading. I could understand clearer. Before, things were like not so clear. I couldn't understand that much. I began to understand and read the Bible. Then I learned more verses. Then I memorized Matthew chapter 6, verse 25 and on. Take no thought for your life, nor for your body, for it's not life more than for his love. Behold the fowls of the air, they neither reap nor sow nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much better than they? But which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit to your stature? And why take thought for your body, what you shall put on? Behold the lilies of the field, how they grow. I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed with such splendor as one of these. And if God so clothed the lilies of the field, which they are, and tomorrow cast into the oven, shall He not clothe you, O man of little faith? That's it. I memorized that. I memorized other verses, and that gave me the strength to continue to go on. I didn't go back to my old life. I got transferred from there to Pennsylvania because I had to do any part of 10 years. Pennsylvania, you do 10 calendars. They gave me 5 to 15. I had 10 years left. I went there as a parole violator. When I went there, the second day that I was there, this guy walked up. Hey man, this is for you. And he gives me a little piece of paper. Emmaus Bible Correspondence College course, free of charge. I studied. And 2 years later, I graduated, 83% average. And my counselor, Mr. Wazlowski, called me down. He says, Nick, your instructor, Kevin, said, you're free to go home, man. You're a good man. Because you write your responses after each exam. I said, when? He goes, Monday morning.